Well, hello. Here to show you the Jaycee Dugard's school book. It's like you got the school book as so far as the coloring right here, which I have advertised, which you say is like 5 different ideas. Is that of course one of them would be is like so far as American history, and along with you got American history. It could include U.S. history and world history, and it could be maybe geography, so far as geometry and stuff like that. Which I would say I guess geometry would be like a math and a math type study, but you have it to where you get the geometry. It's like you got the history, and then along with the study of science, along with the moon. You got that right here. So you got the moon right here, and I would include this like so far as a half a moon, or it could be solar eclipse. And right here, as you have right here is the flowers. It's like so far as talking about the garden, and so far as the flower gardening and stuff. But you have it to where you got the so far as the story about Jaycee Dugard is that I would include right here, or it's like you got the it's like the bookmark right here. Is that the bookmark which talks about is like the different chapters you say, and then along with where she was like where she spent part of her life, and then along with you get the pink ribbon, and then along with you get the book, and then the number say 11, and so far as the future is what you make of it, and you got so far as the education, and then along with the cat, it's like so far as the cat's names, and then along with the birth of the 2 daughters, and then of course is that you got right here, you get the dates right here. But of course it was something that of course that was handmade. But and then you got the book right here, and along with the pinecone charm is like so far as a stolen life. And then along right here you got the reading glasses. It's like an old pair of my own reading glasses. But basically it's talking about the school book, and what I'm going to be talking about this part right here is about the ice cream cone, and it could be a sundae, or it could be ice cream flavored, covered barlun, or say whatever type of dessert products that they would probably have at like the ice cream stands. But if I remember whenever I was in the 3rd grade, and maybe in the 2nd grade, but I'm pretty sure it was the 3rd grade. But I remember that whenever I was in the 3rd grade, it's like in around elementary year, that I remember that the class was doing an activity. It was like during math class, or it could have been some type of a activity going on so far as using the basics of which I am pretty sure it was math, because they would have it to where they would give you a picture of, say, you start out with, say, as an ice cream cone, and then they would give you another layer of ice cream that you would put on top of the cone, and then that could be it's like a chocolate, it could be hot fudge or something like that. Like you give you the next layer is like, I guess that would be like the 3rd layer, the 2nd or 3rd layer, and then the 4th layer. And then I remember that each layer would represent a times table, and I'm sure a lot of us would remember is like our multiplication so far as the times tables. And it could be is that if we all take notes, is like so far as the division along with the times tables. That I remember that I think the 2s, I guess I did all right on the 2s, and then the 3s I did all right, which of course that it's like 3 and 3, and but of course to do the mathematic on paper may take a little bit more time, but basically to start from the basics is an activity that I did in class, that where you if you were to score the numbers like 1 through 10, I think it was 1 times 1 along with 10 times 1, something like that. If you go from the 1s, and then the 2s, and then the 3s, and then the 4s, and then the 5s, and then the 6, and I think it goes up to 10. But if you could get all these numbers all lined up and do the mathematical type subtraction along with the times tables, and they would give you like a picture of an ice cream that you can work with. And that was really the only time I considered math being one of my favorites. Since then, it's like since whenever I was in middle school and high school, I sometimes would forget some of the math problems, and I would probably say that a lot of times people would probably say that may be one of the reasons why they never liked math, was due to the fact about the times tables, and then along with maybe the fractions also. That maybe if it's like it could be a family reunion, that if you were to do a fraction such as it's like one do 1/4 or something like that, 1 1/3 or something, but you had the fractions right there, and of course a lot of times is that you're probably wondering, well, it's that math was never really your favorite subject, and you begin to wonder why. It was just too confusing. But then on the other hand, that it's like this, that the one way you can make it more confusing is that maybe either to study a little bit more on how you came up with that problem, or the fact is it's like what you got is what you're going to get. But you have right here is you get the American history part along the Statue of Liberty. Never saw it in real life. I just kind of just drew this out, and then along with the American flag. And I remember that history was one of my favorite subjects. But then you get the language arts, so far as English, so far as you say you got the parentheses, and then along with the capital T, and lowercase t. Nowadays on the computers that you kind of see something like that, and of course that with me is that I would let's say that maybe if I were to write say Jaycee's name like that, then it's like so far Jaycee, or it could be it's like so far with J, but you got the J right there, and then along with it, like I used to be called a lot of times in classes, the student with the smallest handwriting. But that's kind of similar to what my handwriting looked like back then. And of course is that if I could name the flavors, the flavors I liked on my ice cream. Let's see, vanilla, or it could be chocolate. It's like you barely read that, but you have it to where you get the different flavors. Nowadays with our computers, that you got the sun right there, and then with the sun, that the way the computer technology nowadays is that you begin to wonder about computer technologies nowadays. You got the e-books or something like that. You got the e-books nowadays, but you begin to wonder that a lot of times, a lot of this technology, do you have to go back to school for 5 more years just to learn how to use it, or could you get experience just by buying it? And what I would say is that it's up to you, but more like I would probably say that that maybe you would like that, maybe get experience if you buy your own equipment, such as a toy or something, an iPhone or iPad reader or something like that. Just learn how to use it. But so far as the way technology goes, is moving fast enough to the point where you just begin to wonder, anything such as related to say a layer of ice cream, as long as so far as learning the different stuff about history, American history, or it could be science, language arts, or whatever, that more likely if you'll be able to learn it online as well as the technology, that more likely to know that one thing we need to keep in mind also is to know about if we're getting our money's worth out of it. But a lot of times we are, and sometimes we're not. But even if we're not, as I know, is that we try. But so far with Jaycee Dugard and the Jaycee Dugards, and along with school book and school book coloring.